Hi, this is Lady Lex UK and this is a Dreams gadget tutorial. As promised, this is part 2 of the Force Applier gadget. Before we did the push element of the gadget, and today we're going to have a look at the pull. Now, I was expecting to do this earlier on in the week, but I come across a few issues with this gadget and it wasn't really doing what I was expecting it to do. And as a result, I wasn't able to make this tutorial particularly quickly. So let me just show you the gadget. Here is the gadget we're talking about. This is the Force Applier. And as we saw before, it has two options, push and pull. So push will push things away and you use that for things like explosions. Well, pull, not as obvious a thing. I'm going to use it to make these blocks fly at our player so we can collect them. You could use this for various collectibles, and there are other ways to do this, I hasten to add, but you might be interested in this way. Right, so we have our player here, and I've got a Force Applier in his microchip and also a trigger zone. So first of all, let's have a look at our blocks. So I've just cloned my block. Here is my block here. It's got a collect tag, a tag called collect, and this is wired from its tag output to a destroyer. So as soon as this is detected by a zone, in this case the trigger zone inside that puppet, is going to destroy this block. I could also add something to this that would add to a score or timer or anything really. You could or an inventory, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have our block there. Then we have our Force Applier, and I've put our Force Applier so that it emanates from the center chest area of our player, and this is the area in which it will detect those blocks. And we are going to detect object as a label, and if I go into the block you'll see I've labeled all of these as objects. So it's only going to have object, something marked with an object label, to fly at it. Used by the Force Applier. You don't want it detecting everything, otherwise your scenery will start flying at your player, which is not what you want at all. Right, so you've got your Force Applier. I've got it quite high, force strength, so that it's going to really come at the player and at this type of speed. I've chosen pull, and I've chosen local space, and the force type is radial, so it's going to move in the direction that it's moving in towards our player. Then I've got our detect zone. This is our trigger zone, and I put that slightly, that's not as big as the detection zone for the Force Applier. That's smaller than that. Now don't do it too small. I had it a bit too small, and what was happening is the cubes were spinning around my player, which is not what you want at all. That's not a good effect. So fiddle about with your trigger zones if you're getting that. If they're swinging around, it's probably because they're not actually getting into the trigger zone correctly. So you might have to make your trigger zone slightly bigger. But this is the, you can see there's the Force Applier and there's my trigger zone. You'll see the difference. And it's going to detect the tag of collect. It's not detecting labels, so we don't need to worry about that. Now, we are also going to go into the collision labels. So we want it so that it does not collide with objects. We don't want it colliding with that. so that the object will run straight through. Let's see if that makes a difference when we play this. So let's have a go. Right. So move up to this object, and it's flying towards our player. There we go. So because they are objects and we've decided we're not going to collide with them, although it is going into our player, it's not pushing him backwards. Now if I go back into edit mode, oops, go back to this and collide, let's put object back on, and you'll see now they're hitting him in the chest. Boom, boom. It's a very subtle difference, but there's a slight reaction to that hit. So if you don't want, you just want them to fly at you, then pick a label that is unique to your collectible object, and that will work fine. So there we go. So we have Force Applier acting as a pull on our player. Now, it is quite important that it's only detecting objects and is not detecting anything else. Specifically, our whatever our player is. You would normally label that as friend. Just make sure that is not highlighted. You only want it to affect the object. You do not want it to affect all labels, and you do not want it to, especially don't want it affecting the player, because the default is to have all of these on. So make sure, it's very important, that you only have objects selected. Let me show you what happens. That is what happens if you have the wrong labels selected. The Force Applier is now applying to our player, and I haven't even possessed him yet. There we go. We've lost everything. It's all gone haywire. And not only is it all gone haywire, but we've now lost where we are. And this is a thing in Dreams that annoys me. I rewind it, but it doesn't put my imp back at the beginning. I have absolutely no idea. There it is, down there. Sometimes you just can't find it. It's thrown you so far away that you have absolutely no idea where you need to go. So there you go. Be very, very careful of that. So this Force Applier, you have to be very, very careful. Make sure it is only the object that you want to pull towards you. Nothing else. Otherwise, your puppet is going to be thrown about. It's going to jump off of things. It's going to do weird stuff. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Hope that was interesting and useful. And there'll be another gadget tutorial coming along quite soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in your dreams.